welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Jessica. I've been documenting our journey to try to have a family. So it's been a few weeks since I've made a video so I'll just take you back to the last time that we talked. The last time we did, I was just mentioning that we would be having our frozen embryo transfer soon. We had our frozen embryo transfer on December 17th. So that was at 2:30 p.m. We transferred one level or grade 4AA embryo blastocyst, grade 4AA blastocyst. And after that, I pretty much just went home and rested that evening, and I rested the next day. I continued all of my medications the way I was supposed to. I was on intramuscular estrogen and progesterone. The estrogen is every 3 days, and the progesterone is every day. I rested the following day after the transfer as well. My doctor didn't necessarily recommend bed rest, but I just figured taking it easy and hopefully giving the little baby a chance to settle in couldn't hurt. I did do a little bit of walking, but I tried to not do too much and overstimulate. After those first 2 days, I went back to work. I work at Starbucks, so I'm on my feet a lot. And I went back to work. So that would have been the 19th. I went back to work. Let me look up what day of the week that was. I think that was a Wednesday. December 19th, yep. So I went back to work the 19th, went to work the 20th, and by the 20th I was already feeling really impatient, and I really just wanted to know what was going on. I had told my husband that I wouldn't take a test early because he did not want me to take a test early. He wanted me to just wait until we had our beta test. But I was losing my mind, and it was only like 3 days in. And my beta test wasn't scheduled until 10 days after our 5-day transfer. So at 3 days past the 5-day transfer, I went and bought a 2-pack of first response tests, with the hopes of taking them the next morning once I got off work. So I went to work the next morning. That's 4 days past 5-day transfer. I worked a really early shift. I think I worked 4:30 a.m. to 10:30-ish a.m. And I had to pee so bad by the end of that shift because I had held it all night and then didn't go to the bathroom in the morning and then didn't go while I was at work. I waited till the end. And so I walked into the Starbucks bathroom and I took out a pregnancy test and I peed on the stick and then I shoved it in my purse. And I didn't look at it. And I walked up to the car like nothing had happened. And by the time I got out to the car, I looked at the test. And there was a faint but definite line. And my world stopped. And I was just in shock. I'd heard that you could have test positive that early. I had talked myself up preparing that it would still be negative and that was early and that was going to be okay. But there was a line that, well, there were 2 lines, and I'd never seen that before, and it was, I don't even know if happy is how I felt. I was just so shocked. So I went home and I just wanted to tell my husband so bad. But we weren't really talking a whole lot that week because he had influenza. We found out he had influenza the day after my transfer. He had influenza A, and so he had been living down the hall, and I would like put food outside of his door and tell him that I loved him from a distance. Because I didn't want to risk getting the flu and he had it. So I was trying to figure out how I was going to do this without getting sick, because it was really important that I didn't get sick, because all I could think about was that I'm actually pregnant. And So I went and I'd packed up these things that I've been buying, that I had been buying, I guess I should say. And I put them in this little box that I got. And then I wrapped it up and I just walked right in and I was like, I just thought I'd give you this present early. And I gave it to him. And he opened it and he was like, what is this? I'm so confused. And he didn't get it because he was kind of sick and in a brain fog. And I was like, I took a test and we're pregnant. It's real. And my husband was cautious, which he usually is. And he was just like, well, it's really early and you said you weren't going to take a test. I said, I know, but I just wanted to know. And so let's just be happy right now. And hopefully everything keeps going well. But right now, in this moment, we're pregnant. Like a psycho, I continued to be on sticks for the next, week. Probably about a week. I should probably have some stock in first response at this point. My beta test, like I said, wasn't until 10 days past 5-day transfer. So I went and did the beta test after work. That would have been Thursday the 27th, so a couple days after Christmas. Every day between my first test and then my tests had gotten darker and darker, so I was feeling pretty confident. I had to wait over 24 hours for my results because I know that at a lot of bigger clinics, they have like a lab there, but my clinic doesn't. I go to a pretty small fertility specialist, just one doctor, one nurse practitioner, a couple nurses. And so I didn't get my results the same day like a lot of people do. I had to wait 24 hours, and that was really rough because even though I had gotten the positive pregnancy tests, I know that it doesn't always mean that your numbers are high enough. So I went ahead and just waited. And when we finally got the phone call the next day, over 24 hours later, my first beta test came back at 210 and we were over the moon. But my doctor's office was like, don't get excited yet. We don't know if the numbers are doubling, because everybody in my life likes to make sure that my excitement is tempered with some reality, I suppose. So they were like, okay, you're going to go back in for a second beta test on Saturday. I hate Saturday blood work, whatever. And you'll get your results on Monday. And that made me hate Saturday blood work even more because nobody wants to wait 48 hours for their results. So I waited. I got my blood tested, and then I tried to keep busy for the rest of the weekend. And when we finally got the call on Monday, numbers came back. My second beta test came back at 523, which is well over doubling. It's, yeah, it was like 160% or something like that, doubled. So they were like, okay, everything's great. We'll schedule you for your ultrasound, and they scheduled me for that. And then basically my office went radio silent, and it's been a long couple weeks. But every once in a while I would take a test just to make myself feel better, like, am I still really pregnant? And I am. It's been wild. It's crazy to go from seeing negative test after negative test after negative test to, I mean, at this point when I've taken a pregnancy test recently, as soon as the line gets wet, it's dark pink. Not even, I don't have to wait. The control line hardly exists anymore because the test line is so dark. So that's been, it's just been wild, wonderful, but crazy that I don't know, my mind is just blown that it worked, and it worked the first time. So I will get into a little bit about the last couple weeks and the symptoms that I've been having. So at 4 weeks pregnant, we found out that we were pregnant when I was only like 3 weeks and a couple days still. I didn't have any symptoms then. I just was hopeful. By the time 4 weeks came around, I'd say my main symptom was that I was just really tired. Really, really tired. And I kept having these little cramps that I had convinced myself, like, that means your period's coming, Jess. It's over. Not the case. There were little cramps, and there's still a little baby in there. I started to notice that I was smelling things more, but I don't think it was that bad yet. And my breasts were a little bit swollen, but again, it wasn't that bad. The biggest thing was that I was just really tired all the time, to the point that I was like sleeping 2 extra hours at night, plus trying to get a nap in every day. That was probably about it for week 4. 5 weeks pregnant, so that's about a week and a half, 2 weeks to go at this point. I was still having the cramps. So every day I was just like, oh no, what does that mean? I feel like I shouldn't be having cramps, but everything says that cramps can be normal, as long as they're little and not accompanied by any bleeding. I was, again, still so tired. I still sleeping 9 to 10 hours a night and trying to take an hour-long nap during the day too. During week 5 is also when I started kind of losing my appetite. I wouldn't say that I had morning sickness. I didn't really have any nausea at that point. I just didn't feel hungry either. Eating didn't sound that great. I was having some low back pain. And what else? Bloating. Week 5, I was super bloated. I am not as bloated now. A little bit. I'm a little bit bloated today, but that's because I had a lot of veggies. And so week 5, I was like super bloated. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see like my stomach looks like I'm like 3 months pregnant, or 4 months pregnant, not 5 weeks pregnant. Smell got a lot stronger that week. And then also I was craving salsa, and I'm not sure what that was about. But I just I needed to have salsa, specifically from this one place that we like to eat at called Jalapeno Inferno, and I needed their salsa. And it's like a 30-minute drive from our house, but it's a little bit closer if you go for after. So I just went after my work one day to get 2 pints of salsa. That sounds ridiculous, but I really wanted salsa. 6 weeks pregnant, that's where I'm at now. Today I'm 6 weeks and 4 days, I think. I might be a little off on that because my doctor's office seemed to think that my ultrasound tomorrow puts me at about 7 weeks. I mean, I guess 6 weeks, 5 days is about 7 weeks, but I don't know if my numbers are just different than theirs. Either way, I'm somewhere between 6 and 7 weeks pregnant, at the end of 6 weeks. But at the beginning of 6 weeks pregnant, that was about 4 days ago, I had some spotting, and I just felt like the world was coming down around me. It wasn't even red or anything like that. It was actually really light brown and very little. It was only there when I wiped. Wasn't enough to even get on a panty liner or my underwear. But I just had this sense of doom, that if I saw blood, it must be over. And that was a really tough couple days. I only really had it for 1 day, but I just was waiting for the other shoe to drop. I've known a lot of people who have had losses, early losses, and a lot of times it starts just light brown, and then it gets worse. I called my doctor and let them know. They said don't worry about it unless either you start bleeding really heavily or unless it's accompanied by cramps. I wasn't having, that's one major difference this week. I didn't really have any cramps this week. I had the spotting like right at 6 weeks, but that was about it. So I tried to stay positive and focused, and I spent a lot of time praying. I still do spend a lot of time praying. I prayed ceaselessly over this baby, and I talk to him or her all the time and let her know. So I say her, I don't know if it's a boy or a girl. I feel like it's a girl, and lots of other people said they have girl vibes, but I don't know what it is. But I pray over them every day, and I talk to them every day. And I was just so scared when I saw the spotting. And I felt, I guess, like maybe I deserved that because I didn't deserve to have my very first fertility treatment work, because that's not how it works for most people. And maybe I had just reached too far. I don't think that's the case at all. There's a weird feeling of guilt that comes. We are diagnosed medically infertile, but we haven't had a very long journey. It's only been, we found out that we couldn't have children naturally only in June last year. We'd only tried for a year before that, so it's only been about a year and a half. And so many people have tried for so much longer. And it's hard to not feel guilty and wonder why me and why not them, because that doesn't feel very fair. But I know that God's plan is bigger than mine, and I'm very grateful that we do have this baby. And I pray every day for all of you to have your babies as well. I'm sorry if this is a difficult video for you to watch because you haven't had that success yet. But know that I'm praying for you every day. But I should get back to the symptoms I was describing. After the extreme fear that followed the spotting, I've also been really tired this week still. Lack of appetite. Talking about food is difficult sometimes. Nausea has been hitting this week. Not every day, but the days it's there, it's pretty rough. Today, for example, has been pretty bad. Just feeling nauseous though. I gag and dry heave a lot, but I haven't actually puked yet. But today has been lots of everything sets off me gagging. I've had pretty bad mood swings. You can ask my husband. I've been trying to control that, but I don't think I've been doing a great job. Smells are getting to me a lot more. I've had a couple like dizzy spells also. Nothing like uncontrollable, just like I'll stand up and then I feel a little dizzy and it goes away. One thing that's been consistent across all of the weeks, all 4, I guess we've known for like 3 weeks now, is that I'm super thirsty all the time, no matter what I do or how much water I drink. So I've been drinking a lot of water. That makes me have to pee more. And then in addition to that, I feel like I'm just peeing more anyway. But I guess that's everything that's been going on since we last talked. I'm pregnant. It still blows my mind to say that. I'm a little nervous about tomorrow's ultrasound. I've been praying over it a lot. I've been really feeling super sick and nauseous today, so I guess I'm feeling pretty confident today that things are going to be okay. But I think I'll just feel a lot better once I see the little baby on the ultrasound and have my husband there. I guess I can stand up and show you a belly shot right now. There's really no belly there, but it's I probably look pretty bloated because, like I said, I had a salad earlier and I know that salads are one of the things that can make you a little bloated. So this is going to be my 6-week bump shot. Let's see here. There you go. There's no real bump there, just there's some bloating. But I guess baby's down there. So yeah, like I said, the next thing is that tomorrow we have our ultrasound. We're praying that we see a strong little heartbeat. After you see the heartbeat, there is a very strong likelihood that things will continue and continue well. So I'll be making a video about the ultrasound as soon as I'm able. I'll try to make updates and do bump dates as often as possible. Like I said, I've been extremely tired, so that's why this is the first time I've even been able to do this. I'm tired all the time. It makes it hard to do anything. If you have any questions, please let me know. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and subscribe. I'll be doing bump dates hopefully every 2 weeks. I'm not sure that doing them weekly, that there will be enough content. So hopefully every 2 weeks I'll do updates. I know that right now, like, the baby is the size of like a sweet pea or blueberry or chocolate chip. I have like 5 different apps. So hopefully I can give you a better update about that next time. And when we have the ultrasound, I can show you the footage of that. But I hope you're all doing well. Praying for you to have your babies soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.